Okay. Hello, everyone. Seems like I am now live. All right. Hey, Martin. How you doing? How you doing, mate? How are you, Martin? Who else is here in the room? Hello. Hey, Nico. How are you, mate? How are you? All right. All eyes on S&P 500 today, huh? Hey, Benny. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. All eyes on S&P 500 with the Jay Powell talking today. FOMC. Impossible to trade the news, remember? Impossible to trade the news. G'day, Josh, Sammy, how you doing? Hey, Sven. Good to see you all in the stream. Mr. Bull 88. Hey, Tom, how are you today? I am fantastic, sir. I am fantastic. Thank you very much. Wyasir, g'day. How are you? Welcome to the stream. All eyes on S&P 500, but any sort of intense volatility that we see today is going to extend over into all markets. So it's so important, especially around a time like this, to be managing your portfolio risk appropriately. All right. Managing that portfolio risk appropriately is your number one objective at this kind of time. Making sure you're not overexposed to correlated pairs, not overexposed in general in your portfolio is incredibly important right now. Hey, Kevin, how we doing? Hello from NC, North Carolina. Hey, Tom, what do you think about the meeting today? I think that there is a great chance that it's going to cause volatility in the markets today. Which direction? Who knows? All right? Who knows which direction that the market's going to move? No one is going to be able to know that for sure. Hey, CK reporting in. G'day. Hey, Björn. That's right, I started talking about it at the start here, right? It's impossible to be able to trade the news. No one knows what's going to happen. You're basically just taking a gamble if you're directionally betting on the result of some meeting or whatever. You're just taking a big gamble. You don't know how the market's going to react. You've got to remember, a lot of things are usually baked into price already. The expectations of what is going to be said is already baked into price. All we can do is just trade with our normal bias. You know what? Let's say, the market absolutely rips coming out of the FOMC meeting, right? And punches straight into that resistance level. That's probably a really good shorting opportunity for us. Okay, so all we can do is trade around our normal plan. All right. I absolutely wouldn't be placing any sort of, directional gambles based on what you think might happen out of the back of this meeting today. Okay. But expect some volatility for sure. Hey, Marcus. Hi there. I am from SA. South Africa or South Australia, mate? Hey, Christoph. How you doing, mate? Great to see you in the stream again. Great to have you here. So, yeah. Right now, obviously we're short bias on S&P 500, any sort of big pumps to the upside, and we're looking for shorting opportunities on this market. We are in a pretty decent downtrend right now. Remember, I spoke about in the weekly market review right now, we've just had all of this volatility, right? We were expecting some sort of little consolidation because that's just what the market does. So this little bounce here is really, not unexpected. I talked about this in the weekly market review that we're very likely to see a little bit of, pressure coming off, downside pressure coming off in this market, because we were so high on the VIX, right? We had the VIX punching up so high here. So it was very likely that we would see, a little bit of a move down in the VIX, which would lead to a little bit of a consolidation. But it's very likely that we could see the VIX move down into this level here before we see another rally to the upside, which would mean that we do see, that little consolidation, a little bit of upside here before we see a further dump, potentially. potentially, assuming we do continue to see downside in this market, assuming we do continue to see, you know, this downtrend continue, okay? But does that change anything about how we trade? No, it doesn't. It doesn't change anything. We're still working with the same principles as we always work with. We are working with our bias. What is our bias? In this market, it's downtrend, right? In almost every single crypto right now, our bias is down. Where's a great entry point that we can find? This was not a great entry point, this level right here. Why? Because the market only just made it below this point. We only had one candle close below this level, all right? So it's very likely that we see a punch back through that level, especially after all this bearish move to the downside around this kind of like level here. It's very likely to see a bit of a rally to the upside before finding some resistance for us to short from again, okay? And then finding reasonable TPs, reasonable stop loss around each of those things, okay? So that is what we're looking for. Would you really short the S&P 500? I probably wouldn't. You know, it's not really my thing to short the S&P 500. I'm looking for long trades typically on the S&P 500. But, you know, like I said, if we do see just like sudden rip here to the upside into that, it could mean a little move to the downside that is shortable. Would it be this big? Unlikely. But that is probably still a shortable level. We would have probably a reaction at that level if we do see a sudden rip to the upside here. But in general, you know, I'm a long person on S&P 500. So while we moved into this downtrend here, when we moved into this downtrend, my bias changed to do nothing, right? My bias changed to do nothing until we see the market move back up again, or until we see something bottom and then the market start to move up again, and then I'm long again. Then I'm long, and then I'm riding that uptrend again. But there's plenty of markets here that we can look to short on, right? We had USD Japanese yen. So all of you who held USD Japanese yen through that, through this period of time here when we're in the entry level, we've now popped out and we're heading very likely into TP1 here, which is great. South Africa for Marcus, fantastic. Thought so for Björn. Yep, you know me too well. Lots of downside here, like on Microsoft, for example. Big gap to the downside on Microsoft before just... It's just been a really crazy week in general in markets, right? Just really crazy. We had this price action on S&P 500 that was really, really interesting. And it led to... It led to very similar price action on a lot of risk on markets. This candle right here is like really, really, really interesting. That one right there. This big, this big wick right here, right? This massive wick right here. What did we... Let's check out, let's measure this. So we had like a 4.87% pullback in the S&P 500. We had 4.87% in one day that the S&P 500 moved down before then closing in the green. That has only happened like a small handful of times in history, a very small handful of times for the market to move down by more than 4% to then finish in the green. Very, very small handful of times, okay? And in those times that it has happened, it has actually been in bear market periods. It was during the dot-com bubble, and it was also during the global financial crisis that, you know, I think it's 5 or 6 times that that's ever happened in history. How do you trail your stop loss? I don't. Tom, we are not doing the weekly coaching call anymore. Yeah, we are. We had it last night. We had it last week as well. So, yep, that is definitely happening still for sure. All right, any trades you guys want to talk about right now? Any trades you're in? Any trades you want to have a talk about? We got pound CAD showing up here. Good bias. Market's already moving away though. You can see on this 4-hour time frame trade on pound CAD. New Zealand dollar, Singapore dollar. The reason why we don't trail our stop loss is because it's something that you can start trailing your stop loss and then very easily get wicked out, right? So say the market's moving to the upside here. You start trailing your stop loss, it can very easily just wick you out and then continue on to the upside. So that's why we don't trail our stop loss. We manage our trade. We know how we're going to manage our trade before we get into that position, okay? 80% of our trade management is already pre-planned before we even get into that position, all right? Because we know that if we take TP1, then we're actually going to get out at break even if we get the retracement back to the entry zone. Can BFTC Philippines stock market? Do you have a specific stock, Kelvin, that I can take a look at for you? And we can search it up and take a look. I'm not familiar with the Philippine stock market. Look at gold. It's a buy now. TP of mine is 100 pips. Look at gold. It's a buy now. TP of mine is 100 pips. Are you saying that there's a sonar trade on gold? I mean, gold is probably buyable on some time frame at that level, but really, you know, the buying level for gold on the 1-day time frame is absolutely there for sure. That's the buying level for gold on the 1-day time frame. If we get, you know, a dump into that level right there, that'd be the buying level. It's played out a few times already though, so I mean, gold really doesn't interest me a huge amount that much. That's probably a buying level. On the 4-hour time frame, you can see it was well respected before. Right now, we're really punching into resistance here. We're in this resistance level on the 4-hour time frame, and you know we don't really have a resistance. We have a really like low importance resistance level here on the 4-hour on the 1-day time frame. But really, what we're looking for is probably a pullback into here at least before we continue to ride that back up. So you know. Good bias, we have an uptrend, 145% uptrend, but we're probably looking for a bit of a pullback here before we look at buying gold. But all the best, Marcus, on your position. If you're buying now, all the best on your position, mate. I'd be looking for a pullback though, personally. Euro SEK looks pretty good. Euro SEK looks like if we get a dump down into this level here on the 4-hour time frame on Euro SEK, that looks like a pretty good buying opportunity. Let's take a look at the active trades available to us. It's a scalp trade. No worries. Hopefully it works out for you, Marcus. That sounds good. Hopefully it works out for you, mate. I mean, at least you're trading in the direction of the overall market, Marcus. You know, at least you're trading with the trend. Maybe a 15-minute position it is or something like that. Yeah, maybe this is a buyable level. Probably that level there, I'd say, is more buyable on gold at the moment. ACPSE exchange. We don't have that, we don't have that one. What do you think of US 30 short on the 1-hour time frame? Yeah, we don't have that ticker on PSE. I think I have seen PSE, some PSE stocks, but we wouldn't have everything though, yeah. It's a bit of an obscure exchange. What do I think of a US 30 short on the 1-hour time frame? Yeah, I mean, probably on the 1-hour time frame, there's two options I'd be taking here. A short from that level right there, okay? I think some sort of like extension type trade, something like that there out of that level would be quite reasonable. Especially if we get a really swift move, that would be the zone that I'd be selling from in there, right there. You can see how bearish this has been, right, out of this zone. If we got a really swift move, like 1 or 2 candlesticks on the 1 hour time frame, punching straight into that level right there, I think that's probably very, very shortable, right? If we see that kind of price action, then I would short it. Otherwise, you know, we'd need to retake that level right there before we look for any more downside. Do you prefer Euro SEK or USD SEK looking very similar? Okay, so Euro SEK 4 hour. Let's take a look at, what's the other one? USD SEK. USD SEK. Let's look. Okay. I'm guessing it's 4 hours as well. Well, yeah, looking very similar, aren't they? I probably like Euro SEK. I probably like Euro SEK Nico. Both looking pretty similar. Both in pretty nice uptrends. Pretty similar uptrends in general. I like that this is literally right at the top. Oh, they are very similar. We do have a nice stop loss here, protection on our stop loss from that area right there. So that's really nice to see. We don't really have the same thing. I guess the similar piece of price action is probably that right there on USD SEK. So probably Euro SEK I'm thinking here in this particular case, because this stop loss is just being protected a little bit by that little piece of structure right there. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking here, Nico. But in general, I think if one of them plays out, they both probably play out at the end of the day. I probably want to have a look at how Euro is actually looking against the US dollar as well. Euro looks kind of weak against the US dollar, doesn't it? But it is moving down into this support here. So in general, the US dollar actually looks a little bit stronger than the euro. So if we look at Euro USD, right, this gives us a comparison of euro and US dollar, which is the other side of the trade in this case. So with US dollar looking a little bit stronger than the euro right now, we are basically like right at the bottom of support right here, and we have been trading kind of sideways for a little while right now. I'm actually going to change my mind here. US dollar, based on this right here and how weak euro looks compared to US dollar, you can see this big downtrend right there. I probably like the idea of this trade here a little bit better. Important to take a look at this type of thing here, right? Important to take a look at this. I really think that if one plays out, both probably play out though. Hi Eric, how you doing? Euro USD. I just looked at that. There was nothing showing on that at the moment. Pound USD. Pound USD. Is there a trade on maybe the 1 day time frame or something? We're in a low uptrend here on this. Nothing really to do here. We're like literally just about to cross over. The local RTD is about to cross through the global RTD in this case right now, okay? So really, you know, it's kind of the point where it's like we had an uptrend. The short-term momentum has kind of invalidated that uptrend. And that's about it. How do you choose a trade? Well, you come into the sonar here and you come to active. And you scroll through the available setups that we've got in the sonar on active, and then you pick one you like the look of, and then you go to that chart. Click it, click place 1, place 2, place 3. And that's how you choose a trade, by just going through the sonar right here. Go through the sonar, have a look at the setups, take a look at the price action, take a look at where the price is relative to where the entry is, relative to where the stop loss is, relative to where the TPs are, and then you can select a trade from there. USD SEK here, for example. We just looked at this one before on the 4-hour time frame. Looks really nice. Because we're consolidating so high above the entry right now, if we get like a dump down here, we're looking to trade that back to this overall mean of that market, right? That's how you choose a trade. Very simple. We made it really, really, really simple for you using sonar. I'm also in USD JPY as a sell. My TP is 113.77. I'm pretty sure USD Japanese yen is in an uptrend. And I'm pretty sure our trade is about to hit TP1 on USD Japanese yen. Pretty sure I saw something show up 7 hours ago. Yeah, here it is. USD Japanese yen. We're moving to the upside right here. And we're about to take TP1 in this case. So you choose a trade. Cool, cool. Is there any way to link the charts or ticker from PSE to Breakfree Trading? I would just search like the biggest stocks in PSE and see if they are on here. I'm not 100% sure if we have PSE at all. It kind of rings a bell, but I'm not sure. If they're not in this search dialog right here, then there's no way to get them, no. You can leave some feedback on our feedback link to add them. If someone wants to provide the feedback link in the inner circle or the global chat, you can go leave feedback to add PSE if we can get that from our data provider. What about 1 day sonar trade on BARC a few days ago? Let's take a look. So when this trade spawned, right? When we first saw this trade, it was actually below the entry level already when it showed up. It was below the entry level already when it showed up, right? So let's just take a look at BARC. Barclays. So it actually showed up when the market was actually down at this level here. So let's just jump on the 1 day time frame quickly. When the market was down there is when it showed up. So that's absolutely not a trade we'd be wanting to take, because the market showed up below our level. We've now moved back above this level on Barclays, right? We're in 129% uptrend. If this candle closes above here, what I would do is I would wait out to see how this daily candle closes, because that's going to give you an idea of, obviously how this meeting ends up with the Federal Reserve as well, right? We might be in for a day of a bit of volatility. We have a market that's pushing to the upside right now, but there's every chance that this could just suck back below this level and then continue on to the downside again. We are in an uptrend right now, but what we really want to see on Barclays is we want to see this candle close up above this level. Once that candle closes above that level, you can place orders here, and then you can potentially trade that on to the upside. All right, so you might have a trade something like this here. That might be the trade you're looking to do, up to 225 with 212.55 as your TP1 and 2. Or you might be looking to trade something a little bit shorter. Maybe there's a 4-hour time frame trade that you can go and set up here. Perhaps something like this here, for example. But I still think the 1 day time frame trade is the most reasonable trade to set up on this market, the same as Sonar had it set up. But it's all about whether this candle right here closes above the level. We're not doing anything until that candle closes on Barclays right now. All right, that's incredibly important to remember. Is it possible to hedge cryptocurrency? Okay, talking about hedging cryptocurrency. The way you would hedge cryptocurrency is, I've spoken about it a few times in the weekly market review, right? So let's say, crypto in general is really dictated by what Bitcoin does. Bitcoin is almost like a proxy for the index on cryptocurrency. So while we're talking about it, well, let's go have a look at BTC USDT. All right, so we've got BTC USDT up right here. Obviously, BTC is in a downtrend right now. No one is going to argue that we are in a downtrend on BTC at the moment, and the rest of the crypto market is following BTC because it acts as almost like a proxy. But what you're looking for is you're looking for cryptocurrencies that are currently in uptrends. All right, currently in uptrends, to then go and buy those cryptocurrencies at key levels to hedge against BTC. Okay, so I thought Cream Finance was what might be YFI, maybe Yearn Finance. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head, like, what's moving up at the moment. But I don't think anything much really is. But the way to hedge on crypto is, let's say you're shorting BTC, right? Let's say you're shorting BTC at that level right there, okay? In order to hedge crypto, what you want to do is find another cryptocurrency that is actually in an uptrend right now. Go find a buyable level and place your orders on that level, okay? Then, if BTC rallies, pushes through this level and takes your stop loss, you've got a great chance of this trade here also rallying and moving on to your TPs, all right? It's almost the same way as you would hedge on Forex as well, but pretty much all of crypto becomes correlated based on the direction that BTC is moving, okay, in general. So that's how you hedge in the crypto markets. All right, what else have we got going on here? Short positions on stocks. Not really tradable TSM right now. New Zealand dollar, Singapore dollar, looking okay. I like Euro SEK and USD SEK probably the most out of what I've seen so far. I think, these crypto plays are all, quite shortable. This is a little bit tight, maybe a little bit deeper we could do just so we can get our stop loss a little bit further up. But there's a lot of very shortable markets in crypto right now. And, you know, just like this right here, see, look at Aave and look at Cake. This price action is almost identical. If you just showed me these two charts, they almost look absolutely identical. From what I understand, that BTC are based on BTC, altcoins are based on BTC dominance. If trading pairs against BTC, do I hedge? For what I understand, that altcoins are based on BTC dominance. If trading pairs against BTC, ETH, BTC, FTM, BTC, do I hedge against BTC? Okay, so if you're trading against BTC, right? So let's say you've got ETH BTC. Which is currently in a downtrend. So that means that you're taking a bet essentially that ETH is going to show more bearishness than what BTC is going to show. So you're basically backing BTC strength over ETH strength, ETH weakness, more weakness in ETH, right? Then in general, what this usually means when you're seeing downtrends on altcoins against BTC is you're seeing like way more weakness in altcoins than you are in BTC in the moment. And that's really normal, right? That is very, very normal. When you see this type of volatility in crypto markets, usually altcoins will sell off a lot more than what BTC is selling off. Say BTC drops 1%, altcoins usually drop between like 2 and 10%, and even way more than that for some altcoins, right? So it's usually really normal to see something like this. Now, if you're seeing, say, like ETH is in an uptrend against BTC, that might be an opportunity for you to go and find a hedge using ETH and using BTC to find that hedge like I talked about before. Gotta go babysitting 15-minute scalps. I'll have to catch up later. Thanks, Tom. See you, Benny. My bank does not allow transfers to Binance for crypto trading. How are you transferring your assets to Binance? Card payment. No, so I personally, my like fiat onboarding is I use crypto.com to go from fiat to crypto. And then from there, I transfer it out wherever I've got to transfer it, whether it be MetaMask and I'm using decentralized applications with MetaMask, or whether I'm sending to Binance for trading or whatever it might be. So yeah, that's what I use. You could use something like maybe MoonPay, SimpleX, something like this. Maybe that's accepted by your bank. I'm not sure. Yeah, but you can buy, like Kelvin says, you can buy some crypto on another platform, maybe crypto.com, maybe something else, and then you can send them to your Binance wallet. Yeah. So you're just transferring it from one wallet to another. But there's other onboarding, you could use card payments, for example, like a Visa card. You can purchase crypto with Visa using something like MoonPay, and then you can transfer it over to Binance. I'm really interested to see if we see a bit of volatility in markets as the day progresses today. I think we'll... Yes, exactly, Kelvin. Yeah, you're right. No worries, Chris. Very likely to see, you know, just like pretty chilled markets until we do have this this FOMC meeting thing. All right, pretty likely to see some pretty chilled markets. This could really be like, this could really be a bull trap right here. This really could be a bull trap. You know, market goes and dumps. This is like a really classic bull trap, right? Market goes and dumps, you know, 5% in a day, rips back up, closes green, then starts to rally just before like some news bloody event thing or whatever, traps in like traps buyers into the market here, and then goes and dumps it straight back down into support, right? And then we just have this continual bleed, catching all of these bullish people in there all the way down. And remember, you know, I spoke about this even in the weekly market review as well. We saw something very, very similar. Even here, look at this. Look at how similar this looks during the COVID pullback. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days of selling, a few days of rallying before just absolutely dumping through. So we got here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 days of selling. Bull trap, dump it on through. Very possible. Very possible. Can we have a look at Aussie dollar Swiss franc 1 day sonar short, please? Yes. By the way, will your team be doing updated videos on week 2 content and extra content, because some videos were so old it was on TradingView? Yeah, so those TradingView videos are the original videos from 2 years ago. So yeah, that's why they're on TradingView. The new ones are week 1 and 2 that where I'm in them. They're the new ones, okay? The extended content we kept just because it was still decent content, and it's like, who cares that it's on TradingView kind of thing. But the idea of the content idea is still very important, you know, the ideas that is presented in that content. All right, so this particular trade here, right? This particular trade, I'm in two minds here with this trade at the moment, right? We've had like a really bearish move right here through this level. We've then got a rally back up into the level right here, pretty decent structure around there. We've got a very decent stop loss as well. So that keeps me, you know, like, okay, cool. We've got a decent stop loss in this particular case. When I zoom out a little bit, absolutely, we're in a downtrend right now. 58% Aussie dollar Swiss franc. Can we find better exposure? Maybe, maybe not. I think it's probably a pretty reasonable trade to take. You know, it's a reasonable trade. I think it looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty good. We've had a pretty bearish move previously through this level right here, okay? We are having a rally back up into the level, but like I said before, you know, this rally is really happening because of what's going on in S&P 500 right now, okay? So S&P 500 is showing very, very similar price action to this. If we see a continuation of the downside in S&P 500, very likely we continue to see downside in Aussie dollar Swiss franc. If you can find better exposure on Aussie dollar and Swiss franc, I'd go look there, but there's no reason why we couldn't at least take a TP1 here and go and retest this area right there, okay? I do like this previous structure around here. I like how bearish we moved through the level. Looks pretty okay. You know, and it's not like, if we zoom out, it's not crazy to see the market move back down into that level right there, you know. It's not crazy to see something like that. And we do have this resistance right there that's protecting our downside as well. So we have every chance that it's like, you know, what is the likelihood of getting out at break even if we do continue to push through here and we get like a couple of candles close above this level? It's a very high likelihood that we can get out at break even. So I would feel comfortable knowing that I could get out at break even on this trade if we did push through it. What about RTD? Yeah, so we're in a downtrend, 58% downtrend. So we are in a downtrend on this. If you can find better Aussie dollar or Swiss franc conditions, then go for that. But you got to remember, on a 1 day position, right? On a 1 day position, the local is generally going to be moving as an uptrend, right? We're going to have an uptrending local in order to even catch entries on the 1 day time frame, right? If the local just continued to be like heavy downtrend, it would just be a bleeding market like this, and we're never going to catch entries. But the local can cross over and then cross over again multiple times on the 1 day time frame. Okay, so it's really normal to have an uptrending local if you want to catch entries. You know, it's something similar to like what went on here, for example, right? We had this market just absolutely dump. We then had the local cross over into an uptrend here in order for us to even, you know, have this rally and even look to catch any sort of entry whatsoever. But you got to be asking yourself, is there better conditions that I can go and find? Is Aussie dollar Swiss franc the absolute best place that I can allocate my capital? No, I don't think so. You know, I think the best place you can allocate your capital right now is probably in those euro and USD trades that I was talking about before. I think it was like Euro Singapore dollar or USD Singapore dollar or something like that. Or was it SEK maybe? I think it might have been SEK. Or even, let's look at this Euro Aussie dollar trade right here. I want to take a look at this. Okay, sideways market, don't worry about it. But yeah, I don't mind the idea of the trade. Great chance of getting out at break even. You just got to ask yourself, is it the best place that I can allocate my capital? Is that the best place for me to trade? New Zealand dollar, Singapore dollar actually looks like really reasonable, you know? It looks really reasonable because we're in such a deep pullback. What I'm looking for here is a rally into this level, some sort of like a bear flag form, and then dump down to the downside right there. So it's like, if I'm objectively weighing up my options of Australian dollar Swiss franc or New Zealand dollar Singapore dollar, objectively I'm probably going for New Zealand dollar Singapore dollar, because I'm looking for this bear flag scenario to play out for that continuation onto the downside. Bearing in mind that we have these previous lows over there, so it makes a lot of sense that we could go in and catch those previous lows that were formed all the way back there in the past, right? Nice looking bear flag type setup here. Good looking level. Really strong downtrend. Objectively, New Zealand dollar, Singapore dollar is the trade I'd go and take. Right? Bang, bang, bang. And remember, Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar sometimes show like high levels of correlation. So objectively, that's a nice looking trade. All right, guys, get in your last questions, and then I'm going to sign off for the evening. No worries, why, yes, sir? Yeah, sir. No worries. Any last questions, get them in. Looking for this right here to happen. Form something like that. And then just dump it out of that level. No last question. Oh, okay. New Zealand dollar, Singapore dollar, not available on IC markets. Can you recommend similar pair? uh, um... Not really seeing anything that jumps out at me, Chris, as like really similar. Maybe this here is kind of similar, but not 100, not as much as I'd like. Let's have a look at XAU Euro. I know De Villiers was buying XAU Euro here. Nice. I still think this is a pretty nice looking setup. Buying at that level right there. Pretty good. That's where you want to buy it. You don't want to buy it up here. You want to buy it there for sure. Oh. Looks like USD CAD just played out here. Took a TP1 and 2. Pretty nice. This actually looks kind of similar. Well, it was looking kind of similar in terms of price action. This reminds me of some trade we were looking at just before. I'm not exactly sure which one. Very similar downtrend. I think it was like Aussie dollar, Swiss franc or something. Looks like similar price action. Quick look at Tesla and then we'll sign off. Oh yeah. Tesla moving into a downtrend. How far are we down from all-time highs on Tesla? Pull back 31%, bit of a gap up, down 23% right now. Yeah, if the broader market continues this downtrend, Tesla will, you know, for sure. 750 is not unreasonable at all for Tesla, you know? I think it's reasonable. Again, what are my chances of getting out at break even here? Pretty high. Pretty high. Pretty high chances that if we do push through here, you don't want to be in the trade anymore. We got some good protection here. So great chance of getting out at break even on this one. I like the idea of this trade for sure. Am I a big fan of just like shorting stocks in general? Not really. But, you know, if you are a bit of a contrarian, if you're a Michael Burry type, probably a good opportunity to short. I think Michael Burry's been short since like here though, so he's probably liquidated. But but yeah, in general, I'm not a big fan of shorting stocks, but I could see downside here on Tesla for sure, especially if we continue to see S&P 500 downside. Especially if we, you know, S&P 500, the way that I explain Bitcoin relative to altcoins is like S&P 500 relative to like individual stocks like Tesla. All right. So, yeah, it's very, very similar. Anyway, guys, that's enough for tonight. I'm going to sign off. Thank you very much all for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to chat with you all again very soon. Have a fantastic day, morning, night, wherever you are in the world, and I'll talk to you soon. And, yeah, have a great trading week. Happy trading. See you guys.